I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Thank you for listening to Your Working Life, my podcast series featuring thought leaders in the career and personal growth arena. You spend a significant portion of your life at work, so I'm on a mission to provide you with tools, inspiration, and resources so you can enjoy your career and love your life. And I am delighted to welcome my very special guest to the show today, Beth Perell. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm glad to be here.
Beth, I'm really excited about our conversation, and I want to tell our listening audience all about you before we dive into some juicy conversation. Beth is the Vice President of Communications and Information Management at Goodwill Industries International, and she joined Goodwill in 2005 to make information accessible to the 165 local Goodwill agencies in the U.S. and Canada, and to help develop a culture of knowledge sharing. In 2007, she became the Director of Learning Solutions, which also oversaw the in-person training events and technology-based learning initiatives. In 2009, she became the VP of Communications and Information Management, overseeing web development, media relations, social media, and communication strategies. She has more than 20 years of communications and knowledge management experience and has held positions at Mercer Human Resource Consulting, at A.T. Kearney, and Beth holds her Bachelor of Arts from Miami University and a master's degree from Dominican University. Beth, welcome, and I'm really excited to dive in. We all know Goodwill for its thrift stores, right? But your organization plays a critical role in helping people finding jobs and advancing their careers. So I'd love for you to tell that story about the Goodwill mission and what kind of people come to you for help.
Yeah, Caroline, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. A lot of people say we're really familiar with the stores, and we're grateful for that, because how Goodwill works is that people shop in our stores through the donations that are brought in from the community, and those revenues help fund our job training and job placement programs that help the community that you live in. And a lot of people know Goodwill does something good. We hear that, but don't understand the depth and the breadth of our mission programs that we offer in our communities across the U.S. and Canada.
I'd love to hear more. Yeah, can you give us a deeper dive?
Pretty much anyone who walks in the door can be helped by Goodwill. You know, we have a focus on people with disabilities, people who need further education, veterans, youth, really anyone who's looking for a job or looking for career advice. And programs could include things like resume prep, job readiness, computer courses, mentoring, financial education, and so many more, and really depending on what's really needed in that community.
And I love how you use the word community, because you really are making transformative efforts in communities that are really impacting people in such a positive way. And as we know, the job market is tough. So this is increasing sustainability and independence for incredible people.
Yeah, and that's right. And I love how you use the word transformative. We do use that word, and we don't use it lightly for some of the individuals who come through Goodwill and they really change their lives. They change their lives. You know, Goodwill provides the supports and the tools and points them along the way, but that individual is really empowered then to make those changes and get a better job and build a career and in fact improve their life.
Well, and as a career coach, I so value that, because it's not just about handing someone an opportunity, but it's giving them the tools so they can create a sustainable life, right? And giving them tools that they can build upon and use throughout their lives. So I applaud those efforts. Beth, I'd love for you to tell me about a recently relaunched career navigation website called Good Prospects, which is at goodprospects.org. Tell me more about this.
Yeah, I'd love to. We recently relaunched the site, like you said, a few weeks ago, and we're really thrilled with how goodprospects.org has turned out. It really has some great new features that we've heard from the job seekers and from the Goodwill career coaches around the country that are really needed to help extend our in-person career services through a platform that our members can use to help individuals in the community, and members of the public who are looking to find a job or build their career can use these tools. And some of the features on this site that make Good Prospects stand out among some of these other job boards and other career sites that are out there is that we've built this career navigator tool to help an individual really chart their progress and plan out how they're going to get to that next step. And a really detailed checklist where someone can earn online badges to kind of demonstrate, yep, you're making that progress along the way and showing that you are making headway into that light at the end of the tunnel, which could be that new job or the new better job. Additionally, we also offer a lot of content, tools, resources against 11 high growth industry sectors, so someone can get really immersed into a new industry sector. We also offer virtual mentors, which is someone who you can be paired up with online to really have someone to bounce ideas off of, either specific to your career track or someone that you're trying to suss out maybe a new career track. And like I said, we also have a large footprint across the US and Canada of in-person career centers where an individual could come on in person after receiving some help online. So if someone really needs additional help and would like to see someone in person, there's that ability to connect up with the local community Goodwill that individual lives in to get that service.
So help me unpack this a little bit. I love the practicality of the action steps, the virtual mentors. Tell me, are the opportunities, for example, are you creating relationships? Are you communicating with employers in that particular community saying, okay, here's what XYZ organization is looking for, so then you can train and prepare the candidate, the individual who's utilizing the services? Is there that relationship with the employer as well?
You know that we are getting started with that in several communities and with these 11 industry sectors that we did note. So we are inviting employers to get more engaged with us online, as well as continuing our work in the in-person space with Goodwill.
That's great.
So we are inviting those folks. We are also inviting virtual mentors. We have just over 36,000 registered users on the site. This is, some of the users came from the previous site, but we are seeing new growth even already with the new site. And we are seeking virtual mentors. I would imagine folks and your listeners would be great candidates, someone who's looking to help another individual share their career stories, and they could do it on their own time and online. So that's something that we're really working on and focusing on now.
That's great. The power of mentors. I'll tell you, even as a seasoned career woman, I have mentors in my life who are extremely helpful on my continued career journey. And Beth, how would prospective mentors get involved? On goodprospects.org?
That's right. Right on the front page of goodprospects.org is a link that says Become a Mentor. There's a brief form to fill out and a background check, and there's a little bit back and forth with our team here. And then the individual needs to be able to commit a couple hours a week and sign on for a year.
Excellent. Well, I heartily encourage our listeners to consider that. So again, coming from my career coach perspective, I know the value of face-to-face coaching, right? And mentoring. However, I get it. We live in a technology-driven world, and the reality is it's essential to be able to leverage and grow and scale with the use of technology. Is that what prompted you to launch this virtual service delivery model?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the factors. Finding people who aren't able to necessarily come into a center at a 9 to 5 kind of schedule. Someone who may have childcare or transportation issues. Getting online may be a little simpler for that individual. As well as the volunteer opportunity for a mentor. It may be something that they can do on their own time and schedule this, while really having a real impact in somebody else's life.
That's great. And I trust you've got to be mobile friendly and responsive in all of your technology so people can access it on any number of devices.
Absolutely. We have designed the site with mobile in mind. It is mobile friendly. We would imagine people would be looking at this information on the go. So yes, you can see it on your various devices. And there is a certain level of digital literacy required to use the site. But there are courses at our Goodwill stores or Goodwill Career Centers that do offer these classes, as well as one of our Goodwills also offers online training courses called gcflearnfree.org. They offer a whole variety of technology and other types of courses, all for free as well.
Wow, that's exciting. So I heard you say earlier that part of this whole movement is to offer badges that you can post online to say, I've learned about this particular topic or I've earned this credential. Credentialing is really hot these days. And now that we've got e-badges and micro learning, in your experience, how essential is it that Goodwill is part of that whole equation to provide credentialing opportunities?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's making those connections, and a credential can really make a difference in somebody's career. The credential could really be a significant grower of an individual's earnings and their wages over their lifetime, which could help them with savings, with retirement, with financial stability. But making sure that that credential is valued in the market and necessary for that person's career. So we really try, and I know in our career centers, try and customize these plans for individuals and make sure they're making the right moves and maximizing their time and energy to get where they need to go in the quickest, most efficient way.
That's great. And, again, in this technology-driven era, the skill sets change so quickly. So the beauty of micro-credentialing and learning competencies and skill-based opportunities to sharpen those skills is so wise, just so you are fresh and competitive and relevant in this marketplace.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, I myself need to stay current, with technology trends and industry trends, making sure that we're staying abreast of what's going on, so we can better serve the individuals that we work with. It's really critical, and knowing sometimes who to ask or using peer-to-peer sharing or connections is really critical. And hopefully, good prospects will have that kind of online community to offer that kind of knowledge sharing.
Good stuff. So I mentioned earlier when you were talking about the mentor program that I have benefited and continue to benefit from incredible mentors and sponsors throughout my career. So I get the value. I'd love for you to unpack the virtual mentoring process. Tell me how it works and how you see it supplementing the more traditional career services that Goodwill provides.
Sure. I mean, like you said, we've all been in a position where we could have benefited from a mentor's advice. And sometimes you just don't know where to start or even who to ask.
Right.
This site is one way to kind of connect you to someone who may be helpful to you. And some people have many mentors in many different areas. It's great to start just with one and understand what that individual can offer you. Sometimes just a different perspective or different view of the world. It's really helpful to look at a problem a different way.
So let me offer that I, again, on the front lines as a career coach, often hear from the prospective mentee, but what do I say? How do I behave? What do I ask, right? There's a fear of having a mentor. Can you dispel any of those myths for people that might be concerned about, what do I do on my end of the mentor-mentee relationship?
Yeah, I think that's often the first hurdle for people, that they're afraid to ask or they're not sure what to ask. Most times someone will help you if you do ask the question. What we got to remember, not everyone's a mind reader, and you do have to be explicit and ask the questions and understand that it's okay you don't know the answer and that someone else may be able to help you with that. So it really is getting over that first hurdle of asking that question, making sure you ask for help, but and then finding somebody to take that first step with.
Wow. So Beth, I was fascinated in your bio to learn that Goodwill has 165 local agencies throughout the US and Canada, and it's particularly relevant in my community where there's a very large Goodwill replacing a smaller Goodwill. So it's fascinating for me to see the growth and how they're adapting and thriving in the community where I live. is the business model on the grow where there is need and supply and demand?
Absolutely. That's one of the things I love about Goodwill is that we are pretty much in every community, and you see a lot of different programs in each of these different communities, and the different ways the stores are set up and merchandised to the community, like you demonstrated with the example in your area. Goodwill is seeing a bit of a renaissance in thrift over these past few years. It's been kind of trendy with a millennial crowd of thrift shopping, and we've seen with Macklemore and some other pop culture icons really making thrift cool.
That helps, right?
So we have seen that. We've also had some recent interest in, we've opened quite a few boutique stores recently, where we've taken some of the higher end merchandise, and the store is a little smaller, more intimate, like a typical boutique store.
Well,
so
that's fascinating. Yeah.
With our retail store, as well as on the program side of the house, where we're extending these services and the ability to access this platform online.
Very good. Very good. So, Beth, in wrapping up, I really want to tap your career journey as a professional woman. Do you have any particular lessons or advice that you picked up along the way that you'd like to share? Perhaps something that a mentor shared with you?
Yeah, actually, one of the key things is to make sure you keep your contacts active and keep those relationships active. The reason I am at Goodwill is from a colleague of mine who kind of called a little out of the blue to tell me about this opening. And I hadn't ever worked at a nonprofit and hadn't really considered it. But
right, big change.
Right. And, the more I heard about it, the more I was hooked. And, 10 years later, I'm still here and still enjoy what I do. So it was, I was really glad I've kept that door open, and doors open with other folks I've met along my career, and keeping that open mind. You don't know what an opportunity may become if you don't kind of hear it all out. You may initially think one thing about an opportunity, but if you learn a little bit more about it, it does turn out to be something that really could fit your needs.
That's great. Well, and what I love about that, again, looking through my career coach lens, it's okay to shift and change throughout your career journey. And thank you for sharing that this was 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, this was a new opportunity and perhaps a bit of a risk, right? To take a different kind of a role, and you're thriving. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So Beth, let's talk about how we communicate with anyone at Goodwill, certainly the website or any social media that you'd like to share, because there's some great stuff here, especially remind us about good prospects.
Yes, definitely. Goodprospects.org. You can sign up for and register for an account there as a job seeker or career builder online, or if you're interested in these virtual mentor positions, there's a link that says Become a Mentor, and there's a form to fill out there. You can follow Goodwill at Twitter, Goodwill INTL for Goodwill International, as well as the Facebook page, Goodwill INTL as well.
Excellent. Beth Perell, what a joy to have you on. Keep up the great work, and thank you for sharing this wonderful news about Goodwill today.
Thank you, Caroline.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning into Your Working Life, where my goal is to help you design your career destiny so it doesn't happen by default. True career and life satisfaction is possible, and it's time to embrace what you love doing so you can do more of it. I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Take good care.